Hey guys, based on popular demand, I'll be showing you today how to write an award-winning PhD research proposal. As most of you know, a PhD proposal is an important part of your PhD application. Most universities around the world require you to write a proposal, and this proposal constitutes an integral part of your application. In fact, you might have a very good result, a good statement of purpose and good recommendations, but without a good research proposal, your application may just fall apart. In fact, most universities give priority to research proposals than any other document in the application process. So even the first class student might not be accepted because his research proposal is not qualitative enough. So today I'll be showing you how I wrote my research proposals, and these proposals won me 2 international PhD scholarships at the University of London, SOAS in the UK, and at the University of Warwick, also in the UK. Both selection committees mentioned my outstanding research proposal. So I'll be showing you how to construct the research proposal from the scratch till the end. And I know that there are some other universities, especially in the US, that do not require you to submit a research proposal while applying initially, but they want you to state your general field of interest. And when you get into the program, you eventually have to write a research proposal. So whether you're in the category of writing a research proposal while planning your application, or you're already in and you've done probably a year or 2 of coursework and now you're required to write a research proposal, I think this video is for anybody from any category. And you might even be a master's student and you need to write a proposal for your master's dissertation, your MSc, your MA, or your MRes, MPhil qualification. This video will also be very useful. So stay with me. It might be long, it might be a bit lengthy, but I think it's worth it. This video might just be the gap between where you are now and attaining that PhD scholarship you've been striving for, you've been waiting for. So stay with me and try to watch the end so you can follow the process step by step on how to write an award-winning research proposal. I would also like to remind you to subscribe if you haven't done that already. This channel is dedicated to talking about postgraduate scholarships and helping you with tips and tricks on how to get international scholarships. So I've gotten 5 international scholarships, 3 master's scholarships, and 2 PhD scholarships. And I essentially want these scholarships to go around. So kindly subscribe, give me a like, give me a comment if you're interested in contents like this. So let's go straight into our PhD research proposal. First of all, this video assumes that you already have a PhD topic and a research question or a set of research questions. So if you do not have a topic already and questions, I am advised that you check out my video on how to find a research topic for a PhD and the 3 important points you should consider. I uploaded that video about, I think, 2 to 3 weeks ago. I think you should check that out first before you check this out because it will make more sense. But if you already have a PhD topic, you already have a set of questions, and probably you already have a proposal, this is might be more instructive because you can compare and contrast your ideas with what I have today. And I'll be sharing my own proposal with you. I actually wrote 2 PhD proposals and I sent both of them out to different universities, and both of them got good responses. There were supervisors ready to supervise both of them. So, but at the end of the day, I had to stick to one. So I'll be sharing with you my second PhD proposal. So any tip I give you today, I will show you how I used it in my own proposal, in my own real life proposal. So join me as I take you through the journey of writing a multi-award-winning research proposal. So let's go. So first, we begin with the research topic. And for my own research topic, I selected the topic selective forgiveness and the politics of amnesties in Nigeria. That was the topic I used for my own research proposal. So, and this was like the caption of the document, and you can use any font size you think is appropriate. And then I went immediately to the research question, or if you like, research questions. It might be just one question, it might be several research questions. So I went straight to the question, and some people might argue that the question should come later, probably after the introduction. But my own technique is to put the question immediately after the topic, because the question will help to give the topic a shape, a context, and sharpen your focus. So here, immediately after my research topic, I wrote down my research question. Then the next step is to give a background, an overview, depending on what term you want to use, or an introduction to your research proposal. So what should be contained in your research proposal? Your proposal should be able to give background and general knowledge of the key concepts in your topic and in your questions. For instance, in my own question, I have things like forgiveness, I have amnesties. So in my introduction, I would expose the general debates, the general discourses on state forgiveness, on state amnesties. So in my introduction, for instance, I talked about the peace versus justice debate. The peace debate is saying, oh, grant rebels amnesties in order to ensure peace and bring an end to the conflict. The justice side of the debate is claiming that peace, qualitative peace cannot be achieved if justice is not meted out, and the victims of terrorism, of insurgencies, and of violence are not compensated. So that is the broad debate about peace and justice. So try to look for the broad debates in your particular field of focus. Then state where your particular topic falls in this debate. For instance, this topic falls into questioning the peace approach, that is granting amnesty for the sake of ensuring peace. So my topic is essentially saying that this peace approach might be flawed in one way or the other, because this peace mechanism or this amnesty might be instrumentalized and weaponized to be doled out as patronage to certain groups and then to be used to exclude some other groups. This is what I was just arguing in my own introduction. So you could just do the same. Where does your topic fall in the broad debate? Just maybe one paragraph, because in other parts of your proposal, you're going to discuss in details how your own research will fill the gap, or how it then contributes to existing debates. Also, in the introduction, you could include what we call the statement of problem. You could do that as a different subheading or as a different paragraph in the overview or in the introduction. So if you like, it could be a different subheading, different paragraph, depending on the style you wish to use. So what should be contained in your statement of problem? Your statement of problem should go back to your research question. Since your research question is just one line or two lines, your statement of problem is the opportunity where you expand on your research question. For instance, my research question is about rebel groups. That's why are rebel groups treated differently in Nigeria, and why is amnesty granted to some groups and not some other groups. So I'm looking for the politics, underlying factors behind the discriminate granting of amnesties. So under my statement of problem, I state that in spite of this justice versus peace debate, the Nigerian government has decided to take the peace path, that's giving them amnesties to insurgents. However, the government has also been accused of being selfish to some groups when it comes to awarding of this amnesty, and being partial. I think that's a better word. That it grants amnesty to some people and doesn't grant amnesty to the other people. So this is the problem. And my question is now, why is the government being partial? What are the factors influencing government and decisions on who to give amnesty and who not to give amnesty? So that's the problem I'm trying to solve, so to say. Then the next part is the relevance of this research. This is also still part of the general introduction. So if you like, you could give it a different subheading or a different paragraph. So why is this relevant? Why should people care about this topic? And my approach to this is that this topic will contribute to the ongoing debate about peace versus justice, as I've explained earlier. And as well, the case is also very important because Nigeria is a key player in the sub-Saharan African region. If Nigeria were to plunge into another civil war, for instance, the consequence will be very dire for the sub-region as a whole because of the key role played by Nigeria and the sheer size of the country as well. So I think this is relevant because it contributes to the ongoing debate and pushes the debate a little bit further. And the case itself is very pivotal because we want to ensure that we study the peace and conflict mechanisms in Nigeria, a very key country in the stability of not just West Africa, but the whole continent as a whole. So yes, we should care about this case. That's essentially my argument. We should care about this case because it has both theoretical contributions to the issue of peace versus justice, but also real life implications, real life circumstances that might arise if we do not take enough or sufficient look into the conflict and peace mechanisms in Nigeria. So that is it for the introduction, or the introductory part of this research. So the next heading is a very important one, and is the literature review section. So why do you need to do a literature review during the proposal? It shows that you've been able to do your research, your background research, to see what has been done already on this particular topic, and to show why your own contribution is unique, to show that nobody has actually discussed the issue the way you intend to discuss the issue. So literature review is immensely important. I might even call it the most important part of your proposal, because there you show you've read Wired and you know the key arguments, the key contributions, and yet you're able to place your own research within these existing arguments and contributions and discourses. So for instance, my literature review covers the two major debates. And under these two major debates, of course, you have different contributions and different literatures. For instance, I first discussed on what I call the polemics of amnesties. So I examined debates on the pro and cons debates of amnesties, those for and those against amnesties, and gave their different viewpoints and their real life examples they also gave. Then I also moved further because my research proposal is not just about amnesty, but also multiple rebel groups, how governments try to handle multiple rebel groups within the broad background of amnesties. So after discussing the pros and cons of amnesties, then I went to literatures about how governments treat multiple rebel groups. And I also looked for key scholars in this field, and they gave different compelling arguments. For instance, one was saying that the government should look for the bigger rebel groups and should leave the smaller ones. So the government should gauge which is more of a national threat. So those that constitute more threats to the nation should be given more concessions, so to say, and those with lesser threats should be given lesser attention. But others might also argue that a lesser or a less powerful rebel group might overnight do something outrageous in order to get attention and to get relevance. So it might be a bad idea to ignore a particular insurgent group or a rebel group, because if they think they are being ignored, it might push them to the extreme to gain both national and international headlines. So this scholar was advising that the government shouldn't show that it has ignored a particular rebel group, but always look for ways to engage, no matter how little or how less powerful the group tends to be. So these are just my arguments, and you could use the same logic in your own compositions and how you engage with literatures. So now the second part, and this is arising from a literature review, is how to draw an analytical framework. And before I move to my analytical framework, I actually discussed the holes in the theories and in the arguments of the scholars I initially reviewed. So I praised them on where they did well and what they did and the techniques they used to arrive at their conclusions, but also found gaps in their arguments. So this is a good place to praise and also to censor some of these things you've mentioned in your literature review. Then after this, you move to your analytical framework. Analytical framework is where you borrow theories or positions or arguments from your literature review. So even though you found holes in them, you can, from those holes, you can extract some things you intend to use for your own research. For instance, there might be some theories that you reviewed in your literature review, and the theory is good, but there are some loopholes. So you adapt that theory, but you cover the loopholes, so to say. Or there are sets of theories and you combine them. Instead of using just one theory or two theories, you combine the sets of theories and use them as a chain to analyze your own case. Because the problem of previous scholars might be that they were looking at the issue from their own narrow perspective, but now you're using a more holistic perspective to look at it. So it is like you derive theories. After censoring them, you derive the good parts of the theories you think are relevant for your work. So it's just like the baby and the bath water analogy. So while you refute those things you do not believe are relevant, you extract those things you think are relevant. So here you show the gap, but you also show theories and arguments you think are relevant for your own research. So after my analytical framework, I went to my case study. I want to defend why Nigeria is a relevant case study. And I have said a few things about my case study already at the introduction. So now I go into Nigeria as a case study, the position Nigeria occupies when it comes to sub-Saharan African politics, and how peace and conflict problems have plagued the country over the years, and the different groups that the country has been battling with over the years, and also exposed literatures and concerns about how the Nigerian government is handling this conflict and the existence or non-existence of bias in engaging with these rebel groups. So I went in details about why I chose these case studies and why this case study is relevant for my research. Then the next part is also quite important, methodology. Okay, now I've been able to give a background to the literature, my analytical framework, and now how do I intend to carry out my research? For this particular research, I decided to do critical discourse analysis by engaging in depth with available literature and from academic scholars, from recognized international organizations, from the press as well. But I also said I'll be combining this with key informants, experts, interviews. So apart from the documents already available, I would also be conducting interviews for experts, security experts, professors in security and politics and conflict field, government officials, all those I think do have knowledge about this field. And I said I plan to interview about 50 informants. Of course, it's just tentative. When I get into the field, eventually, I'll be able to gauge whether 50 is a realistic number, whether it's too low or too high. And it's just good to give a general view of what you intend to do and why you also intend to do this. Because I said dealing with the literature alone is not enough for me. I think I also need insights from scholars, from journalists, from security experts in that country that might also shed more light into these available literatures. It is like a way of triangulating different sources to see how they interact with each other and whether they are saying the same thing or not. So different fields use different methodologies. So just make sure you're able to, you are conversant with the methodologies used in your field, and you probably take a methodology course as well to ground you on the methodologies to use in carrying out your research. And it's not just enough to say, I'm using this method or that method. It's also good to justify why you're using that particular method. So as we slowly get to the end of the proposal, there are some miscellaneous items you could add. For instance, some universities might give you a format on how to write the proposal and ask you to write like a timeline, a tentative timeline. So if you're doing a 3-year or a 4-year research, they want to know how you're going to plan your research. What are you going to do on the first year, the second year, third year, and fourth year, and things like that. So you should give like a brief timetable of how you're going to carry out this research. How long are you going to spend in your field work? And how long are you going to use in processing your data and writing your proposal itself? The first year of your research, what will you be doing, and things like that. Some universities as well also ask for budgets. So this is also a very tricky one, but some universities are like, if possible, write what you're going to, how much this is going to cost, especially if the department or the university is going to be sponsoring or giving you a particular amount of money for the research. So you could do an estimate of a rough estimate of what it will cost to travel to your field work. That's if you're doing the field work, or if you're doing a lab experiment, what it will take to buy the equipment you need, and things like that. So have a rough budget in mind. So these are, as I said, they are miscellaneous, and they're not compulsory to add in your research proposal. But check the format with your department. If your department didn't give any format, then I think you can leave this out. But if you have space and you think they are important, you can always add them to it. Timeline and the budget. And one of my supervisors encouraged me to end with a conclusion as well. So I haven't said all these things. A conclusion should summarize everything, the general debates around the topic you're talking about, where your topic fits in, your methodology, and your time scale should be summarized in probably a 5-6 line conclusion. And of course, you should have a well-arranged bibliography. Bibliographies with the major authors all the authors actually you quoted in your work, the year of publication, and yeah, just a normal bibliography, but well arranged and well formatted. And that's it, guys. It's a quick one, although it's quite lengthy, but it's a quick one, a rundown of how to write a research proposal and the major components on how to write a research proposal, especially for at least the social science department. But I think the difference between social sciences and the STEM courses or the practical sciences when it comes to a proposal might not be so different, even though our techniques are a little bit different and methodologies. But I think the basic things of research question, the topic, the literature review, the methodology, these subheadings I think should be in every discipline, no matter where you're coming from, whether you're coming from social sciences, pure sciences, humanities, the arts, or whatever discipline you're engaged in. So that's it, guys. This is my own quick tutorial on how to write a PhD research proposal. So what do you think? If you have one already, how does this fit with yours? Are there some things that were omitted? Because I'm not claiming to be a know-it-all. There are probably some things I did not add in this video. So if you have further suggestions on how a research proposal can be improved, you can simply comment down below, and you'll be educating somebody on how to package an award-winning research proposal. So that's it, guys. I'll see you later on more educative videos on postgraduate application and postgraduate scholarships. So kindly check out my other videos. I've done several informative videos on this channel on personal statements, on recommendation letters, on standardized tests, on applying from a different discipline, on things like procrastination, on whether the COVID-19 would affect the availability of scholarships. So kindly check all those videos there. Guys, it's an exciting time to be alive. So guys, there are lots of videos for you to check out on this channel. And until next time, I will see you later. Stay inspired, guys. Stay inspired.